Okay, so last night I finished Case File 2 of Finders Keepers, the new entry in Ministry of Lost Things that Post Curious is bringing to Kickstarter here very shortly, and thought I would give my quick thoughts on this. Now, the intent of this series is to be a little bit smaller in scope with each individual entry, and as such, this is not really trying to put a lot of time into establishing what this world is. The Ministry of Lost Things is a whimsical, collective organization that's trying to track down the emotional keepsakes that we tend to hold on to and lose throughout our lives. The first game really trying to establish the groundwork for this setting and focusing on socks, whereas the second one is Case 2 Finders Keepers, and as you might expect, is thematically tied to all sorts of keys, locks, doors, and various ephemera associated with keys. Within our 5 case files, each one a missive that you're given, and you open them in sequence, attempt to solve them, check your answers on the Post Curious website, and if correct, with the helping of various clues and hints that you can progressively go through, which is old hat if you're used to these types of games, then you go on to the next one. Once you're done with the 5th one, you got the conclusion, you got the reward, you're ready to go on to the next one that presumably will come down the road. Personally, I found this still consistently engaging and surprising, and I've played so many of these types of games at this point, and I'm continually surprised by the inventiveness. There are some puzzles in here that I was able to intuitively get through without any sort of clues whatsoever. There were a couple, on the other hand, that were definitely doozies that I found myself getting most of the way through and then using the hint system as a way to progress through each step that I already took to see where I was going wrong, what the gray area was, but once I got that nudge, I was able to get to the next area. If there are any frustrations I have with this one, it's kind of a minor quibble with the use of a lot of proper nouns, keys and various other things that are similarly named to real world things, but slightly off. And so as you're doing some of the more name-based puzzles, looking for a specific thing or a location, you might end up feeling like you're off track because it's not quite clicking that it's actually spelling a word. It's just a word that's a pun based off of something that you kind of recognize, and that can initially throw you off. There are some reference materials that contain some of the things that you're eventually looking for and can confirm, and there are certain naming schemes that eventually it falls into place and it really isn't too difficult to overcome. But that was an extra meta layer of difficulty that I don't think was necessarily intended. While it's certainly not a complaint, and there is a great dimensionality, particularly to the climactic puzzle that involves depth and arranging in physical space in some really cool ways, this is a game that, because of its nature of being a little bit reined in, it's not going to have the same depth as a lot of the other puzzles that this publisher has put out. And it's mainly going to be flat pieces of paper that you're arranging, working with, manipulating, looking at observations. There's still some clever, cool new mediums that haven't really been used in the past, but it's worth noting that this isn't going to be something with tons of artifacts to really hold on to. And lastly, the setting and focus being keys initially seems like it's not going to have that much of a realm to play in, especially compared to socks, which immediately brings up a bunch of childhood, playful, evocative things to me. It definitely goes places with keys and brings in a bunch of different thematic settings that I didn't expect initially, but makes total sense within the concept of this, particularly a biker bar setting, which was really, to me, one of the standout puzzles and one of the standout pieces of artwork and aesthetic that was put into this box. I still feel a little bit more nostalgia and warmth towards the socks of the first one, and particularly the characters of the first one, but this one still manages to do something interesting and innovative within this realm. So as a second entry in the series, if you liked the first, and if you like what this publisher has done in the past, Post Curious is at the top of their game and are continuing to do some really inventive, creative stuff. And I love the small, digestible format. If you're wanting something a little bit more grand and has a little bit more artifice to it, then we have the reviews of Pandora's Legacy and Emerald Echoes as some larger projects that they've been involved in recently. Otherwise, if you're wanting something, it's a little bit shorter, probably taking about 4 hours in total to get through, and can be broken up into little sessions based off of the 5 little missives within, then this is such a great way to go, and I can't wait to see where they go from here. Is our review. But let me know what is your favorite of the Post Curious line, and where do you think the Ministry of Lost Things and their Neasters should go from here as far as little objects that are common to everyone that we build up those relationships with and end up losing along the way. Put it in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, supporting, subscribing, doing all those things. And as always, thanks for being a great community. You know that I've been Jack for the Cardboard Herald.